before we get off this call, we're not gonna talk about your behavior on Saturday night. And I bought my glasses just to put them on.
What's that? What are you talking about?
You in the car. No weapon formed against me and my team shall prosper. It won't work. All right. So we got to talk about this. These are my shades. The hater blockers. I feel like Jamie Foxx. No weapon formed against. The weapon tried to form against my commanders. I got to tell y'all this.
Yeah. What's
So
that?
my mother knows. My Miami Hurricanes play. Shout out my
Oh, are you talking about the gas?
yes. I'm
Oh my
telling
god.
you.
Here we go.
When my Hurricanes play or the Washington Commanders play, especially in the playoffs, Washington Commanders. I like to be non-existent from everybody. I gotta watch the game. Real superstitious. Like my mom, she the type.
Oh man, somehow you got muted. You're okay.
Worry, I'm back. My mom, she, she the type. I come in the game. I'm watching the game. As soon as she say something, we throw a pick. Mom, you can't watch the game next to me. I don't know what type of ringing, but it's not
It's
working.
like a yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Weekend, last weekend we won against the Bucks, and I was at you guys' house.
Yeah.
So watching the game downstairs, we won. So I'm like, I'm gonna watch the game again this week downstairs. We're gonna win. I ain't even go out with my uncles. So my mom know don't say nothing to me during the game. She just called downstairs, Jamelle, Ma, the game on. What's going on? You about to mess us up? She didn't even want. I could hear in her voice. She didn't want to call me. She's like, James needs your help. At first I'm thinking about Lord James.
Yeah.
What do you need my help with? Him? It's probably the video game or something. Like, he don't need my help. Go do something. Read a book or something. Leave me alone. So she's like, she come downstairs. She like, Big James ran out of gas on the highway. I said, I just
Why are you
dropped.
bringing this up?
I put my hands up and prayed. I said, God, if you didn't want us to make it this far, that's all you had to do. Don't make us go out like this. Not like this. I'm livid. I'm like, what you mean he ran out of gas? I'm like, he got a smart car. How you run out of gas? He got a smart car. His car can tell you when somebody about to hit the car, it'll jerk it this way. His car got every type of AI thing possible. What you mean he ran out of gas? I'm like, he ain't run out of gas. As soon as she said that, she's like laughing, but not trying to say it. I said, call AAA, Mom. Call AAA. Game is on. Game is
God.
on. They go help him. I can't move right now. We winning. So she like, forget it. I'ma just go. Now you put me in a bad situation. I can't have my mother going out there at night.
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you.
We're back. Jamel, we're back.
Yeah,
A lot's happened since that first one.
yeah.
Yeah. So I know you want to talk about commanders and all that other stuff, right? But you don't. But you were superstitious about it before. Yeah, I know. Ravens fans were. But let me say this. If you watch the Ravens game, I'm really. We'll talk about commanders in a second. And you know, like I'm not a super fan. Like you're a super fan. But what I am rooting for, man, is because I just feel like the way that Lamar gets treated is crazy. Consider what he's doing at such a young age, what he's already done. But anyway, that's on the side. Let's talk about Jaden Daniels. All right. But not just him, but the ownership as well. Because last time we talked, you talked about the difference that happens when the new leadership showed up. So here you are. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
What a time to be alive, man. What a time to be a Commanders fan. Yeah, but in terms of leadership, it's just been night and day from Josh Harris group. I think it's Josh Harris or Josh Harris and his group to the Daniel Snyder era. The biggest thing that I would say I noticed was it appears that Josh Harris and the other owners, they hire good people and then they let those people do what they're hired to do. Where from what I've studied, Daniel Snyder was a fan of the Commanders. He grew up a great fan. He used to go to the games at RFK. He was a young guy who owned the team. I think he owned the team at like 30. So giving somebody that's 30, I'm 30 now, right?
Ow.
So I ain't mean to age myself on here. Still look young, but somebody that's 30, that much power is probably not the best thing in the world. But he had the money and the resources to do so. So he owned the team. And because he was so much of a fan, even though he hired the right people, he still tried to make the decision. So it was what he hired, the people he hired, it was null and void. Whereas though Josh Harris, you see who he hired. He hired Adam Peters, people who we didn't even know. He was hiring like NBA guys, right? But they built dynasties in other sports. He hired Dan Quinn, and kind of what I've just noticed overall is that he hired people and let them do their job. He got out of the way, and he trusted the people that he hired. Like that's the importance of the hiring process. Not for me to hire you; it's to hire the people to do what I can't do. So I think that's the overarching main thing that transpired. Why we see a difference between night and day in the organization.
Man, I remember you just flashed me back because when I was working in pharmaceuticals, I had this manager who prided himself on micromanaging. Like, this is what he said. He's like, I micromanage. He's like, don't be surprised if you get a phone call from me that's super detailed. And it was like sucking oxygen out of the room because you never felt like you had the space to do. You always were thinking about, well, what should I be doing based on what I think he would think I should be doing? That you just dropped a huge gem because leadership is that, right? But when we were talking before, you were talking to me about people hopping on bandwagons now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Talk about that for a second. Talk about that for a second.
Well, you know, goes without saying. Wherever success goes, people follow. So um,
Mm-hmm.
your dedicated fan base, or just anything, you have your dedicated fans or people, whether it's high, whether it's low, they're gonna stick beside you. You have that group. That group may get frustrated a lot if times are bad, right? You're gonna have that group, but then you'll have the people that, because this is hot, it's the cool thing to do. They'll be there. They'll be supporting. And I think that's where we're in a phase of that right now. And I mean, part of it is because we're winning, but the
Yeah.
other part of it is how we're winning. You got a young guy in who's doing what no one has done before him. The way he's doing it, he's won on Hail Marys. He has so much poise. I think he had the most fourth quarter like change. It's some crazy stat he had where he won the most fourth quarter games in the last minute than anybody in the league right now. So that's
Mm.
something people gravitate towards. So I mean, part of it comes before due to that as well. But you know, we're welcoming all bandwagon fans. They're not going to sway. They're not going to sway if we win or lose. They just fill the stadium up a little bit for us, more money. That's
Yeah,
all.
but winning answers everything,
Oh,
right?
true.
So you think because look, I remember years ago you moping around the house and just being frustrated with, but then I remember also this past weekend with you sprinting up the steps in celebration. But, the loyalty factor of being true when there is no evidence. You and your uncles out there tailgating when you're losing. You know what I mean? Like you're losing, and you're probably gonna lose the next game, but everyone's amped just for the possibility of winning. There's a lot of faith in that. There's a lot of messages on faith about staying true in the losing season because now you get to celebrate it. So take me through when you see something that you are so committed to because you are a super fan, but the losing is just like it's just there all the time. What kept you where you were mentally with that level of support when there was just no evidence for it?
That's just a good question. I think it comes down to a commitment. Sometimes it could be consciously, sometimes it could be unconsciously, nonetheless, but a commitment to something. So if you're committed to something, you tend to not sway, right? Where the variables don't change as much because you're committed to the team, the person, whatever it is. So you're willing to, you go through a little bit more. Whereas though someone who's typically not, the first sign of adversity or losing or something like that, that person's gone. That's how you'll see somebody who, my grandfather's like this. His team has won a championship every year since 1991. Think about what that means. That means whoever wins is his team, right? So we joke with him about that all the time. Well, I especially joke with him about this. Week to week, I ask him who he rooting for because you don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Pittsburgh fan, Chiefs, I don't know what's going on. Uh, so you just, I don't know, you're committed to it. You're committed to something. In this case, it's football. It's a team, and in the good times and the bad times, it's still fun. It's still memories. Like you may have lost that game in a terrible way. You're mad. Your work week probably start off sad on Monday, but you guys had fun that night. You guys had a fun tailgate. It's memories. You're laughing. Even if, let's say, you have a player out there who can't catch, dropping a game-winning touchdown. Down the line, that's gonna be something to laugh about. Like you're gonna remember when, like I just saw yesterday, because the Ravens lost. Mark
yeah,
Andrews had the
yeah,
fumble and the
yeah,
drop 2 point conversion.
yeah.
Somebody on I think it was Twitter or maybe Instagram was like, Mark Andrews about to be the most hated man in Baltimore since Billy Cundiff. So I was like, Billy Cundiff. So I went back and looked, and that's the guy who kicked. It was a 33-yard, and he might have missed the kick by 33 yards to the left. Boom.
Never heard
If
of him.
you look it up, it was against New England Patriots, and was it 20? Was it 2009? It was like almost to go to the Super Bowl, and it was a 33-yarder, and I think they had just went down the field. And the play before they threw a pass that should have been a touchdown, but the defender knocked it out the last minute. So the Ravens down 23-20.
Mm.
So the kicker jogged downfield. He jogged. And they said, here's Billy Cundiff to tie the game. It's going to go to overtime. All likelihood because there's still 12 seconds left. When I tell you, I had never seen anybody miss a kick this bad. Like, it looked like somebody did like this when he kicked and just blew the ball. It literally went left. The entire, usually somebody missed a kick left. He missed like left.
I gotta watch that video.
The
Yeah,
ball didn't even hit the net. It went almost to like the 100%. It was crazy.
the moment was too big.
Yes.
The moment was too big.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
You know, when you're facing that moment where it's like you could become legend, that's a big moment. I mean, you know, like just I know people are gonna trash on Mark Andrews and all this other stuff, but I think everybody's had that moment that was just it was too big. I mean, he's caught everything. He hasn't had that many drops since like 2019 or something like that. But in that last moment, with that last 2 point, that moment, it is what it is. There's so much I got out of that game, man. There's so much I got out of that game. Number one, I'm always thinking about Lamar because I really want him to win, just because you know he fights and he works so hard to get better. And then this moment comes and it just like something crazy happens. That's number one. But I'm sitting and I'm thinking to myself that the moment that the entire game we were encouraged and nervous all at the same time, and I don't know if everybody else felt that. That's a fan or just a casual watcher. Like we were like nervous, like we were excited, like this could be it. But you know when you start to like reputation's powerful, man. It's like I don't know what it is, but Mahomes has this thing where it's like you just assume it's gonna just work out. But then on the flip, there are other teams where you're supporting and you're nervous because you've seen like in that one moment, it's like the moment's too big, but you know that they can rise to the occasion. I remember one game you were I remember when you were playing a game. I don't remember who you were playing. I remember when it was over, you get in the car and you were super upset for basketball. I can't remember what the team was. I don't even remember if it was a championship or I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was a rivalry or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Where like you were really
Like,
you don't remember? Man, you were beside yourself in that car, upset over that game. And like I played sports, and you know I've had moments where I was like serious about it, but I don't remember. Maybe it was for more me business than it was for sports, but I don't remember ever being like that, like upset. And that was the moment I realized how much you love basketball. Like before I saw you work out and play, but when you got in the car and you were like that, I'm like, this man, like, I no, scratch that. Not that you love basketball, that what you love, you love. You know what I mean? Like what you're passionate about, like Jamel is passionate about what Jamelle is passionate about?
There.
Do you remember when I first met you?
Nah, no.
You know? Do you know how old you were?
I don't know, probably early teens, something like that.
Yeah. So we first met. I want to say we went to a restaurant. Me, you, your mom. And we went to a restaurant in Baltimore. Y'all came up. I remember I can see it was Miss Shirley's, as a matter of fact. It was Miss Shirley's. And I remember you walking in the door with your mom. It was the first time I met you.
Mm-hmm.
That was a moment. I don't even know why I'm thinking about this right now. But that maybe because I'm sitting here talking to the 30-year-old you,
Maybe.
and I'm
Maybe.
just having a moment where I'm just like, wow, like he's 30, like you're bearded out, like you're a man, you know what I mean? And I'm having this flashback moment. But I remember you walked in that restaurant, and I remember thinking, what am I going to say to him? Because I knew the moment was going to happen at some point in time, but it's like, how do you? But you don't remember the moment. You don't even remember. Dang it!
But that's usually how it works, though, right? So, um, what I learned is sometimes, okay, there's a moment. There's, let's say two people, whatever the moment is. The moment can be, it can mean something to one person and the other person not as much because they're not thinking of it like kind of the same. So for you, you thinking of a lot. And I could see if the roles were reversed and I'm in the situation you're in, I could see the lens you're looking through because oftentimes as an adult anyway, I don't know, when you have lived experiences, you can think about all of these different things that the next person not even completely, that's not even on their mind. I probably think about some pancakes that I'm about to eat. Like, okay, hey, what's going on, sir? I'm probably hungry anyway because I like to eat, so I probably was hungry anyway. So my thoughts probably food, and then like, hey, or whatever we're talking about. You had to think about 10. You probably trying to think about how to say the perfect thing, how to start a conversation. I wasn't thinking about any of that. So that's probably, yeah. That's
You know
probably
what?
I don't.
I was looking down. I remember you all walking in. I remember very clearly the waitress had just come up to the table and said, "Would you like it? Is there anything you'd like to eat before?" Because I have two other people that are coming. And I remember when she was walking off, like maybe 30 seconds later, you guys walked in. And I remember thinking to myself, I could be sitting here meeting people like rest of my life people. Like that's what I was thinking. Like like this could be a rest of my life moment.
Right.
Before that, I'm like single. I'm doing, like I'm single. It's all about me. I
Yeah.
got no responsibility. I mean, I have some, but it's not like. But then I'm literally thinking right before you all came in that everything could change from today on. Yeah, of course it did, but
Yeah. I had a feeling similar when James was born though.
oh really?
Yeah, because I was thinking, literally, I remember he was headed to the hospital, and I was like, man, when they get back, like, not even from a selfish standpoint, but what I thought I was like, when they get back, I have a younger sibling now. Like,
Yeah,
I, literally, I'm talking about from if we're saying, like, all right, see you later,
that's right.
that conversation we going to have, everything going to be different. So I know, I understand what you're saying from that standpoint.
You know what? I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
We've never even had that conversation.
That's literally what went through it. I was like, when they walk back through this door, everything will be different. Literally, everything will be different because that's what it's gonna be. And yeah. So I had that in my own way. So
Wow.
and I had it in college too. So when I
It,
was in college, um, the last day of college, essentially, um, I just remember the night before, I was just walking around campus, right? Because throughout college, you never, sometimes when you're someplace, you never really experience it until the end or when it's
Hmm.
over to a degree.
Yeah.
So the night before, I was walking around campus and actually looking at the buildings for the first time, like actually observing my scenery. Because always walked in this building, but I never
Ah.
was aware walking into the building. I never looked at, oh, I see how this was built for that, and seeing the beauty in campus because there was no reason. And maybe the first time you'll think of it like that is when you first get on campus because everything is new. But between your first day and your last day, everything is just like kind of autopilot, and to a degree, you could say taken for granted because you're not really in the moment of any of it. So I remember the day before graduation, I'm just walking around campus, just kind of looking at everything. Oh, something dropped on my pocket. Apologize. Walking around campus, just looking at everything. Observing from the trees to like the wind blowing with the trees and just walking slow, analyzing all the buildings, thinking about all the memories, but knowing that tomorrow was the last time that my entire class, because we've all been here for 4 years. Some people super seniors, they've been in a little bit longer, right? But we've all been here for 4 years. But tomorrow is the last time, and I knew this. So this, I guarantee, it's the last time all of us will ever be in the same place again. So in that moment of graduation, for me, it was like this happy but then at the same time it was like because you knew you had climbed to the mountaintop, but that was literally the pinnacle. The other side was just down because I don't care who comes to homecoming. All of us will never be there at the same time ever again. There's no place essentially we'd all be. So I knew like once this moment happens, everything changes. It'll never be the same again. So I kind of wanted to, I guess, be there for a little bit, be there mentally and stuff like that for a little bit before I depart
Mhm.
or Delaware State University.
You know, when you were moving into your place, I when you're moving to your place, that was interesting. Like, so as you're talking, I'm thinking about all these different stages where you realize that there's change, right? Like when you're moving into your place, and you're getting everything set up and you know moving furniture and all this other stuff. I remember we had that when we were at that condo. We had that fireplace, you know, right when you first walked in,
Mm-hmm.
and I could still see. I still have a picture of the first Christmas tree with you sitting by the Christmas tree by that fireplace. Right, that was our first Christmas together in that condo, and when you were moving into your place, I remember thinking to myself, I mean, you're grown,
Yeah,
but I just remember having this moment, like, man, he's grown and he's growing out of here. Like he's got his own place. Like he is, like he's like you know. And then you think about the next stage. Next stage, you know, you meet someone special. Okay, the next stage, then you get married. The next stage, you start a family. But I just remember when I was helping move this stuff out, I'm just sitting there thinking about the Christmas tree. You sitting there opening gifts to now. I think about that with the kids too. You know, like
yeah,
man, Jade was Jasmine. You know what I mean? Like you saw them all come home, and now you're like talking to them, and you're playing basketball together and all this other stuff, and like you said some earlier, just made me think, man, you really do have to stop and really listen to the trees through the wind through the leaves, and because like you hear it, time goes by fast, but until you really stop and realize how fast it's really going by and how much you're missing because like we're so busy doing busy things, which is important. But you know, like when you and I go outside and we like, you know, put our feet in the earth and that kind of stuff, and we talk about like be present. It's true, man. You know, like you were 16 and now you have your own life and you have everything going on, and it's a beautiful thing to see the growth. And at the same time, sometimes you wish you could slow just a little bit, just slow down and rewind the video a little bit and say, you know what, I wish I would have done that a little bit more. These are not things you got to think about right now. I'm just talking about from my
That
perspective.
is no, it is. No, it is. You still have it at 30. You just yours is different. Yours is more related to children. Mine would be more related to experiences and situations, right?
Like
'Cause
what? Like what do you mean?
it could be anything. You could like, let's say for instance, take a lot of people in different ways, right? And I used to hear people talk about this all the time in college. Everyone had this super plan of how things were going to be right after college. But you know how many people said they were going to get married by 23, get
Oh,
20. Like there's
yeah,
this.
yeah.
So time can go by till let's say you're 30, and you're still trending up, but it may not necessarily went exactly as planned. But you learn that that's kind of not how life is. So you learn to plan as you go. So there's still instances within that where you're like, when I was 23, I should have did this, but I did that. When I was 27, I should have did that, but I did this.
Hmm.
So then eventually it makes you kind of try to be where your feet are, um, as much as you can, because then those are the moments where kind of try to be conscious in, because you may say, last time I was in this moment, I did X, Y, Z. So
Yeah.
then learn experience. So now this time you slow down. Where are my feet right now? My feet are under me. I mean, I'm present. All right, well, let's be present in this decision you about to make. For whatever you about to make, be present. Take your learned experiences and think about that. Bring all that in. Now it could even be ask questions that you may have not asked before because you understand how important this decision may be. So now let's go ask an elder. Let's go ask a friend. Get input. Lean into other people understanding all those kind of things. So that's what I said. I still have it. It's just not. Yours is a little bit different. We all kind of all have the same, I say, situations, problems, whatever. We all have the same. It's just the variables are different, in my opinion.
You know, you just said something that was really powerful. Let me be where my feet are. That's good. That's powerful. That's There are all these books in the self improvement section on consciousness and being present and all this other stuff. It's gonna take, man. It's gonna take a very serious, actually not a very serious. It's gonna take a very self aware woman to be with you.
You going
Like
somewhere, and I don't know where you going.
no, I'm serious. I'm just sitting there thinking about something because you think like you think she's gonna have to be something. She's gonna have to be self aware. Like you know, you and I talked before about like accolades and the money and all that other stuff. Like she's gonna have to be.
Accolades and money mean nothing. Get a lot of it, but it means nothing.
It doesn't mean anything.
It means nothing. It's good though. It's good for it'll boost your ego for sure.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, nah, no man.
You know, it's interesting because I've never. It's so funny because I don't. I know we're in a society that's all about accolades, but I've never once. And I'm sitting and thinking about my entire life. I've never once been interested in a partner because of their accolades.
Makes sense.
How much money they make, what job title they have, do they own a business? That is I've never like not that's never even been but
It's
yet
just,
go
oh
ahead.
wait, I was
No,
about to
no.
say it's a saying that says, and I can't think of where I heard it. Maybe Oak might have said it. Oak Fanous, and that's on Serendipity Podcast with Ink. But I think Oak might have said it where, or it may have been Ink. You don't know what somebody did to get something, and you don't know what they're doing to keep it. So accolades is fleeting. That feeling is fleeting because you. I think if two people, whether that's just a business partnership, whatever it is, two people connect and y'all connect and things are right, all of that stuff will come because y'all in alignment. So all of that's gonna be there. But if it's about the accolades, y'all are in for trouble because life's gonna touch everybody. I don't care who you are. It's gonna happen. And if there's a leak in the fortress, or it's a leak in your armor, if you will. At some point, water, toxicity, negative energy is going to sink in, and that's what sink your ship. A boat don't sink because the water around it. It doesn't, right? Boats, that's what they do. They go in water. They don't sink because the water around it.
Sure.
Sink the crack, some kind of way a hole gets in the ship. And if your foundation not right, whether it's business, like I said, whether it's the future of your life, whatever it is, if that's not right, and that stuff starts to seep in, that's where you sink. So that's why I said that's important. Accolades, that's not important. If your foundation is correct, and you can also tell by how somebody responds to accolades, right? Like I
Mm.
was taught, or you could maybe say taught, or I just picked up as one of the best things I've noticed in business, or just paid attention. I always give credit away. That's my thing. Like I just, because I don't need it. So if somebody was to highlight me for doing something great, I give that to my teammate. I was that way even when I played basketball. Oh, you had 20 points last night. Somehow I'm about to talk about my teammate, or somehow I'm about to talk about something else about the game, because I never wanted it to be about me, right? Because then if it's about you, people stop, you know, fighting with you, if you will. So I think that's the same in relationships. If you make it about like what y'all are building instead of accomplishments or what it looks like to be, you're gonna be all right. Because when the highs and the lows come, you're gonna have something to stand on. So it's my answer to that.
Man, I can't wait to meet her.
Hey, wait,
she better watch this before she better.
this wherever this is posted, this does not mean everybody message me on the side of my DMs, because I know how this goes. Just, I see what's going on.
But man, there's so much to that because I dated this young lady. I was probably right after high school, and I remember going to meet her parents out, and they were so successful and so miserable. I mean, successful, and I mean, like they're fighting at the lunch. Like it was really awkward for her because they were like fighting at the lunch table. Like when we were having lunch, and like just kind of nitpicking each other. And but I mean, like everything, like the beautiful home, the beautiful cars, all those other things. And I'm just sitting there looking at them just go back and forth. And I'm at this point, I'm ambitious. I want to have whatever it is I want to have. And in my mind, they kind of already were living the life that I wanted to live. But then you begin to realize that sometimes behind those beautiful gates, it's not what. But it goes back to that foundational conversation about the accolades. Like he was mega successful in his career. She was mega successful in her career. And at some point, it went off the train track. Maybe there was a good foundation there before, but afterwards, like whether it's relationships or business, it's so true. If you don't get to the heart of people and connect with the heart of people, it doesn't last. It doesn't matter. It's empty.
Yep.
That's why when I say that she's got to have herself together, because a lot of people there are being told to just chase people with accolades or just accumulate your own accolades. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about building yourself and I'm all about going to that next level. But I think so much of the focus right now is just about how much can I get and how many boxes can I check to prove that I'm a boss or I'm killing it or whatever it is, men and women, that I don't know if people are really thinking about who you're going to be with that person.
I can see that. I tell you, when I noticed another way I noticed that is, I remember when Instagram first came out, or in the earlier days of Instagram.
Yeah.
If you go back to look at people post or what they were posting about, it could be like sitting in class, screenshot, selfie. It
Oh.
could be just random stuff. Read this book today. This is on people's page. At some point in time, Instagram changed to selling content. Everybody doing it though, right? So I'm
Hmm.
not saying that it's a problem, anybody doing that, but at some point in time, Instagram truly became business. So now, not even personality, where people can't even be themselves anymore because there's an image or something they're trying to portray online. So everybody's Instagram became that. Everybody's Instagram became, and I think even things like that go into what we're talking about right here today, where everyone wants to post the biggest accomplishment, their latest car, the latest travel, the
Yeah.
latest, and nothing's wrong with that. I'm not mad at those who do, but for most people, we unconsciously doing it now because it's the way, it's the thing now. Just show the highlights. So when I'm on social media, I joke a lot. I'm joking. That's all I do all day long anyway. So when I'm on Instagram, I treat it as such. I joke a lot because that's my personality. If I'm not joking, I'm probably miserable. I don't want to be serious all day. That's
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah.
So I just use it for what I use it for. If you can make money on it, sure. But outside of that, I like to joke. I'm gonna post stuff, repost things. I'm gonna make jokes, laugh with people, because that's what makes me feel like good on the app. Just to have that connection with the laugh and the joke and etc. Whereas a lot of people who, if it isn't business, it ain't got nothing for you on Instagram. But
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah. Yeah. For
always
sure.
like that.
For
Was not.
sure. For sure. When you talked about people with their like giving their highlight reels, that's a lot of it's crazy too because it took me a long time. I mean, you and I talked years ago about doing stuff on social media, and one of the things that was my sticking point was I'm like I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to constantly be thinking about what someone's thinking about what I'm saying. Like to me, that's all social media became. It's like, man, it's so hard. Like you can't even like go to enjoy a movie or enjoy a meal. Like before you even take a bite of the meal, you're taking a photo of the meal. Like I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, but me doing the stuff I'm doing now, my breakthrough came with this. I had this recording of my mom's voice, right? Cassette tape days, and I had this old cassette player, and I was playing this. Recording her and like say, "Mom, say something," right? And she was like, oh my God, leave me alone, leave me alone. So I was recording her saying all this. And then I finally got her to a point where she said, I love you, right? So my thing was when I moved after she passed, I lost that cassette. I couldn't find it. I ripped this apartment apart to find that cassette because it was that person's voice, and that was like there's things you think about. Photos are one thing, but when you realize that you don't hear that person's voice again, because this is before all of this stuff that we have today. So part of what my motivation was to even put out stuff like in the world like this was because I wanted to make sure there was something left behind, that somewhere in cyber world that some like my kids, grandkids, great grandkids, whatever that is, could go and one day search or if they ever get curious and something comes up, and then I'm like, okay, what would I want them to hear if that day happened?
So what you want them to hear?
What we're
Like,
doing right now.
what's certain things? All right. So what if you had to say something now that's like follow these rules, and you had to
Yeah.
give things or just five opinions? What would they be?
No matter what you hear, love God.
Okay.
Like no matter what you hear, because I feel like there's definitely a mentality or an agenda or whatever it is to remove God from like everything. You know what I mean? Like just everything. So number one is that's number one. Number two rule I would say is you're you're so much more capable than you ever realize that you are in any situation. Like you're gonna always figure out any situation. It may not always look like it at the time, but you're always gonna figure it out. Like you just got to give it time. Number three, don't be so eager to call everyone friend or make everyone friend. because people use that word. I mean, you know, you go to social media, friends. I mean, you know, like people distort the power of that word, and I don't want them to ever feel like, you know, like you had that discovery for yourself. I don't want you to ever feel. Well, I mean, you're at the stage where you're past all that, but this is more for like the little people. I don't want any of y'all to ever feel like you have to be in a space with somebody just because you gave them a label that they never deserved. The next one is take care of your body because you get one body, and you can change your cars, but you can change your body, but you don't want to destroy your body. So protect your body. What else would I say? Read, because if you don't read, the wrong things get in. No, read things that are good, because if you don't read good things, the wrong things get in.
Right.
Don't hang around people who gossip, because eventually they'll be talking about you. They'll talk to you first about somebody, but eventually they'll talk to somebody else about you. It's just a matter of time. Don't have arguments with people because it's just killing you faster. And there's a difference between having a point and believing it, but you know, all the hormones and toxins and things like that get in your system when you get angry, it's just killing you. You're the only one who's your blood pressure's going up, your immune system's being suppressed, all this other stuff. So is anger worth your life? We've all given into it, but just when you stop and think, is me being angry now worth my life? I would encourage them to have their own business, even if they do something part-time, just because I think you learn a lot when it's all on you. Those are kind of the first things I would think of.
Got it. I can dig it.
Essentially, I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
I just figured that they would pick up little bits and pieces, but shoot, I should have had a little menu, and I'd be like, look, these are the things on this menu that I want you to be able to order in your life. When we were in the car, you remember the first time? You remember your first reactions when I'd play stuff like in the car, like personal development stuff in the car back in the day?
Somewhat. I just want you to know, whenever you say you remember the first of any of these things,
Clearly, it's gone.
I don't. But I remember, I'm not going to say I remember the first, but I remember when I used to play Jim Rohn. Oh, you got to watch out. Oh, man. Put on some go-go, put on some, I don't know, Jay-Z, put on something, I don't know, not this. Whatever this is, turn this off right now. If not, you need to speed this car up and get me where I need to go. This ain't work. I definitely remember those days. This is not gonna work. I never what? We driving in the car. I'm used to we driving the car. You hearing music, you rap, something like that. Y'all driving in the car, somebody talking that's not even there, and it's oh man, I remember. Oh, I used to be so mad. I used to, like, I don't turn this on. I think I used to put my headphones in.
You did. You did. You did. I'd slightly turn it up too, but yeah, that's it.
It was two things being turned. You turn yours up, I turn mine up.
That's right. Wait, let me tell you. So I was talking to your mom, and I was saying to myself, one day you came into the office and you like were asking about like grabbing some books.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just started looking around and you just want to grab some books to take with you, just start reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I flashed back to Jamelle in that car with his nose turned up about Jim Rohn, to Jamelle fast forward in his 20s coming to the office to grab his own books for your own personal development.
Life comes at you fast, buddy. I need to understand some things. Hey, you got this book in there? Yep, you do. Oh,
Yeah. But look, hey, think about, you know how like you ever have conversations with people like, because you know you've read a lot, you've exposed yourself to a lot.
hmm
Like you're now that source of information. Like
yeah.
they're right. There are people who've come to you and asked you for whatever because of your personal development.
hmm
But you were the same You know what I mean? Like to me, that's powerful because it shows our ability to evolve. And when I see you now, and I know you haven't evolved up, but one of the greatest joys that I have, which is why I enjoy talking to you so much, is because I see the evolution. I see. I mean, you're just so different than a lot of other people in your same age group and what they're thinking about, what they're talking about. But you're so grounded. You're so grounded. You're young and you're really getting clear on yourself. But you're taking time, you know, for people watching this, you know, you don't seeing you say, you know what, I'm gonna go to Chicago to go learn about real estate. Just because, or I'm gonna go to Georgia to go to this business conference just because I want to, like, you know, when you see a young man or a young woman and you see them making those kinds of choices, that's the most like you feel if a whole lot of things go wrong, at least that you got that right. Like that's right. Like I'm looking at someone whose life is moving in such an incredible direction, and I feel like I'm watching the movie and I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Appreciate that. I think that's something I'm supposed to say. I appreciate that too. I think
Well,
so. So I appreciate that. If not, I still appreciate that.
you know, yeah, it's true. It's true. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate taking time to hop on here. I hope everybody has at some point a Jamel that shows up because I know because you showed up. I wouldn't say I was a hooligan. I was definitely not a hooligan. I've always been focused on my on getting better, but you definitely accelerated the process of shoot, I need to get for real serious, for real, because he's up in here now and he's sitting by that Christmas tree and it's very much no longer about you. I hope
But
everybody has a Jamel show up.
before we get off this call, we're not gonna talk about your behavior on Saturday night. And I bought my glasses just to put them on.
What's that? What are you talking about?
You in the car. No weapon formed against me and my team shall prosper. It won't work. All right. So we got to talk about this. These are my shades. The hater blockers. I feel like Jamie Foxx. No weapon formed against. The weapon tried to form against my commanders. I got to tell y'all this.
Yeah, what's
So
that?
my mother knows. My Miami Hurricanes play. Shout out my
Oh, are you talking about the gas?
yes. I'm
Oh my
telling you.
god. Here we go.
When my Hurricanes play or the Washington Commanders play, especially in the playoffs, Washington Commanders. I like to be non-existent from everybody. I gotta watch the game. Real superstitious. Like my mom, she the type.
Oh man, somehow you got muted. You're okay.
Worry, I'm back. My mom, she, she the type. I come in the game. I'm watching the game. As soon as she say something, we throw a pick. Mom, you can't watch the game next to me. I don't know what type of ringing, but it's not
It's
working.
like yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Weekend, last weekend we won against the Bucks, and I was at you guys' house.
Yeah.
So watching the game downstairs, we won. So I'm like, I'm gonna watch the game again this week downstairs. We're gonna win. I ain't even go out with my uncles. So my mom know don't say nothing to me during the game. She just called downstairs, Jamelle, Ma, the game on. What's going on? You about to mess us up? She didn't even want. I could hear in her voice. She didn't want to call me. She's like, James needs your help. At first I'm thinking about Lord James.
Yeah.
What do you need my help with? Him? It's probably the video game or something. Like, he don't need my help. Go do something. Read a book or something. Leave me alone. So she's like, she come downstairs. She like, Big James ran out of gas on the highway. I said, I just
Why are you
dropped.
bringing this up?
I put my hands up and prayed. And I said, God, if you didn't want us to make it this far, that's all you had to do. Don't make us go out like this. Not like this. I'm livid. I'm like, what you mean you ran out of gas? I'm like, he got a smart car. How you run out of gas? He got a smart car. His car can tell you when somebody about to hit the car, it'll jerk it this way. His car got every type of AI thing possible. What you mean he ran out of gas? I'm like, he ain't run out of gas. As soon as she said that, she's like laughing, but not trying to say it. I said, call AAA, ma. Call AAA. Game is on. Game is on. They go help him. I can't move right now. We winning. So she like, forget it. I'ma just go. Now you put me in a bad situation. I can't have my mother going out there and like, man, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what I'm looking for. I ran past at 0.1 seconds. She like, you gotta take the gas and then go to the gas station first. Take the canister. I'm like, you gotta do what? I fly to the gas station. Boom. I get to the gas station. Talking to. He say, I don't even know how many gallons fill the thing up. I said, let me get 5 on Thursday. He said, you mean 6? I said, brother, you talking too much. I got somewhere to go. I get where I gotta go. So boom, handle that. Now I'm in a car. I got the gas thing in the passenger seat on the floor. I didn't know you probably supposed to put it in the bag because now the gas smell on that car. I think I'm about to pass out. I done had to roll down the window. I got the phone. I shouldn't be saying this, but the phone on the seat got the Hulu on because I'm trying to see it play every in between the play. The game keeps stopping, and then you hear the voice and it stopped. By the time it refreshed, Detroit then went from the 20-yard line to the other 40-yard line. So now
Uh-huh.
I'm flying on it. I get on 795. Yeah. James, where you at? You said, I'm right here. Remember you tried to call me when I was on the way? I said, James, can't talk to you right now. Gotta go.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't got nothing to talk about. All I know is by the time I got to you, we went from a 10-point lead to a 3-point lead. I'm like, oh.
Because you,
Then I'm
uh,
trying you good to make sure your car off. You pouring the gas in so slow. I'm like, oh Lord, what is going
what
on?
do you mean? I put it in slow. I pour it as it
No,
pours in.
you took
You,
your
you
time.
you didn't even get out the car though.
I didn't have time to do that. So then when you got back in the car, you know it's traffic because the highway. So you
Oh my
those
god.
brakes sometimes. We got a break. I
Yeah.
promise you was sitting there, had to be texting somebody. I let the first one go. The second one I go, I beat the horn. Beep, beep, beep. Gotta go. Gotta get back to I sprinted back to the house to watch the game, and we won. No weapon formed
No,
against me shall
no,
prosper.
but let me remind you something. You said before we left. You said you need to go to the gas station.
Oh,
So
I said,
it
you need to go. I wasn't
right
going to the
in my mind, I thought you were gonna follow me to the gas station to make sure I got there all right. I look behind me. I'm like, did he go?
yeah, no. We both took the exit. You went that way. I went that. I had a place to be. I knew you had enough gas to get to the gas station back 3-4 times. If you messed up at that point, you had to wait till the game was over because I had to get back. And you see what happened when I got back to the TV. We went up 14, 17 points.
I
I
guess
made
I
a
guess
weapon.
personal development has its limits. I guess personal development has its limits. You know, moments like
No, no.
that.
Personal development tells you to be self-aware. I was self-aware that a weapon formed against me and they tried to prosper. It
Oh
will
god, I love how you are the reason why the Commanders would. First of all, I'm glad this happened during halftime, or at least around halftime, because if it hadn't, I don't even know if you would have come. So
the
I'm
reason
glad.
one. You was almost the reason we lost. That's the difference. I had to get you up out of here. It wasn't that I was the reason we won. The weapon you tried to form. I had you up out of here.
Ah,
I had nothing to do with the victory. I had
ah.
to get back to my square to make sure we won. I had to
Okay.
make weapon that bad energy over there. And then I'll call y'all one more time before I go. The Ravens played the next day. So the commanders played, you decide to run out of gas. The Ravens play, you going to get a buffet, you cooking steaks, you doing all this for the game. The commanders, you ran out of gas. You see what happened to the Ravens. God don't like ugly. That's no weapon if I tell you prosper. It won't work. It will not work. Not when you praise by the Most High, it will not work. We are covered. We ain't been covered in the past. We had Daniel Snyder. We was cursed. We are covered, or at least to this point, we've been covered. We got to go to Philly. I don't know what's going to happen next week. So,
Well, I'm glad Jesus is on your side. That makes
yeah.
me happy.
Well, if what you did work last time, on Friday, don't put no gas in your car. I'm coming. That worked sometime last time. It worked. Don't put no gas in your car. I'm coming to get you. Do the same time around halftime, 2 minutes before we go back on the field. Run out of gas.
Oh
Thanks
man,
for
my
a
head's
toast.
hurting. The back of my head's hurting. Okay, you got it. Done deal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamel. Thanks for the pickup. Thanks for letting everybody know I ran out of gas. I appreciate it.
Use you, brother. He tried to use you against my team. I gotta have that. No. In JD5, I trust. Yeah.
All right, bro. Yeah, I
All right.
got it.
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you. See, the definition of sight is the faculty or power of seeing.